Hey guys, this is Oliver Radiate Reality, back again with a new commentary for you. Now, if you recognized in my recent one-shot commentary, that kid was priceless, I got myself a new avatar card picture, which would happen to be this one you're looking at right now. And I got 4 others as well, which you guys might be able to see. So, yeah, now getting back on subject. I played the game Sonic Unleashed, and I thought it was a pretty good game. It had a few flaws which I'm not alright with, but I can still overall consider it a good game. IGN, though, didn't seem to give the game a fair chance, and I recently discovered this one review, so let's have a look at it.
There's one thing you should know about Sonic Unleashed before spending your hard-earned money on it. It's a big piece of garbage.
Say that again to my thousand-eyed, shadowed face.
Big piece of garbage. That should probably be enough to warn off anybody who's thinking about playing it.
It didn't stop the legion of Sonic fans from playing it, and it didn't stop me from playing it. So why are you even bringing that up? That alone is not going to help you, help your statement.
But I guess we should talk a little bit more about it, just in case you like to hear this tortured sound of my voice.
Teacher, I know the answer. Who gives a rat's ass?
Yeah, do we even give a rat's ass about your voice?
It's games like this that make reviewers rethink their lives.
Don't you mean Superman 64?
Now, I have a theory when it comes to Sonic games. Someone at Sega hates the Hedgehog with all his might, and he's going about trying to sabotage the franchise with these awful games.
Why would Sega want to sabotage Sonic, the only leading mascot they...
This is the only explanation that makes any sense to me. Pretty much every decision made for this game was the wrong one.
You saw that clip? It said you failed. And you know what? The game is right. You failed!
And Sonic ends up taking more beating than a piñata because of it.
Did I miss something here? Was something funny said?
The gameplay in Sonic Unleashed is split up into 3 equal parts. There are daytime stages which are actually very good. There are nighttime stages which are actually complete rubbish.
Nighttime stages? Where the hell did he get that up from?
And then there's also the hub city where you do a lot of exploration stuff, and that's boring as can be.
If hub worlds and open world environments are boring as can be, then how come games like Red Dead Redemption and Pokemon can be sold at rocketing amounts of sales? Huh? Answer yourself that.
Now, the daytime stages are actually pretty fun. It's fast platforming that is mostly on rails, and for a brief moment you might actually think to yourself, wow, this is what a current-gen Sonic game should be.
Guys, how should a current-gen Sonic game be? As I said before, I'm not a fan of a franchise.
The daytime sections aren't perfect by any means. The jump button can be fatally unresponsive at times, and it's just a lot of trial and error gameplay that can get a little bit repetitive after a while.
That is not even a fact. That's just a lie. The jump button was responsive at all times when I had the opportunity to use it.
You know, if the game was just 3 hours and only contained these daytime sections, it wouldn't be such a bad thing, and actually, it'd be a pretty good game.
Are you saying that if the game was 3 hours long and had the same current element that it would would fuel it, you would say that it would make it a good game? No, it would make it an absolutely appalling game. Do you even get what I'm talking about here?
You know, I can even overlook the stupid airplane part that they stuck in, which is a rail shooter where you don't actually really get to shoot guns.
I think I'm getting the IGN virus. Dr. Martin Semper, are you getting the IGN virus?
We do not want this sickness. This is sick, and it's therefore deviant. We do not want it.
You know what? I agree.
But see, the problem is, the sun goes down. And what happens when the sun goes down? Well, of course, Sonic turns into a werewolf. Oh, excuse me, werehog, if you want to use the official terminology. Now, the reasons why he does this as well, it's not really worth getting into.
It is worth getting into. May I remind you that you're reviewing a fucking game? Also, it is even more worth getting into because at the same time, it's part of the story.
However, you should know that the game changes completely. Gone is the speed of Sonic, replaced by a bunch of boring, brawling sections.
Brawlers are never boring. They're actually pretty damn cool.
The frame rate's bad, the camera's bad, and the fighting stuff is just tedious and terrible.
Okay, I can forgive him for the frame rate being choppy, but it's only up until the points where you get more than 30 enemies on the screen. That happens in all games when you get a lot of enemies on the screen. Secondly of all, the camera is good, but there's only a few points in the game where you need to adjust it. Now, I'm gonna ask you this one question, and you guys know what's gonna come. Make a valid argument now, before I pull the frickin' trigger.
As a werehog, you go around beating the crap out of stuff and performing a bunch of really bad platforming sections.
Doesn't Prince of Persia have all these platforming elements as well? Like the same types? So the guy's a frickin' hypocrite. He gives Prince of Persia a good score, but he doesn't even give this game a chance.
Oh yeah, and you have stretchy arms, cause, you know, everybody knows that werewolves have stretchy arms.
Okay, for starters, it's a hog. Big difference between a hedgehog and a wolf. So, since werehog has been introduced in Sonic Unleashed, any feature can be added onto the werehog. For example, he can have complete control over himself, he can talk, and he can also have those stretchy arms. Werewolves, yeah, you have no control over yourselves, you like to howl, and also, you like to destroy stuff. Big difference.
Even worse is that these stages drag on for like a half hour each. There's no excuse to extend the pain this much.
What the fuck were they thinking?
First, being a nitpicker for all the things that have been introduced into the werehog, then being hypocrisy of this being equal to Prince of Persia and God of War, and now you're saying that takes a half hour. I can fly through this in 5 minutes. What the fuck are you talking about?
This guy is unfucking believable.
Sonic the Werehog makes Biggs the Cat look like an endearing character. Yeah, it's that bad.
Invalid argument is invalid. Also, I was told that Biggs the Cat had gameplay that resorts to fishing, so you would rather prefer fishing over combat scenarios that equals God of War, Devil May Cry, Prince of Persia, and all that sort of jazz? Once again...
What the fuck were they thinking?
Even if there were just those two kinds of levels, this game wouldn't be that bad. Sure, you'd have to endure the horrible nighttime levels, but you'd always know that the daytime was coming soon enough and you'd get to enjoy those. However, Team Sonic didn't want to let any slip-ups happen. They had to make this game bad. So how do you make it worse? Well, first, you add completely unnecessary RPG elements.
That's barely even like an RPG. Seriously, I've seen games that have elements like those, and they barely even represent an RPG.
XP for every bad guy you kill, and then you can spend this XP to increase things like Sonic speed or your Werehog's moveset. It's not so terrible, but it does seem unnecessary. I mean, really, do I need to pay to upgrade Sonic's speed? Shouldn't Sonic be as fast as he can be from the get-go? Isn't that the reason why I bought a Sonic game in the first place?
In each and every video game, you get certain power-ups to make your character stronger in every progression. But you're wondering is that you bought the Sonic game just for pure speed, and you're wondering if that's the reason why you bought a Sonic game in the first place. Well, why the hell did you buy Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic 3, and Knuckles, and the Sonic Adventure games? I'm pretty sure your answer lies there.
But that's not all. I've saved the best for last. Convinced that Sonic fans don't just want to run really fast and have fun, there are hub worlds. These terrible, terrible hub worlds.
What's wrong with them? They're only about the size of the towns and cities in Pokemon.
Oh, and you can cleanse people's souls by taking pictures of them. I'm not even joking about that.
Well, this is an opportunity to make a joke about it. I mean, if that was the case, and if it was game trailers and they were making a proper elaboration or review, then they would put a joke there.
It's kind of like having a group of 5-year-olds come up with ideas after giving them a bowl full of sugar. Sure, there are fun parts buried inside, but don't subject yourself to the pain. But the best thing I can say about Sonic Unleashed is that it does at least make the old Sonic the Hedgehog games look a whole lot better.
Someone please tell me how the fuck that is supposed to make sense.
For the full written review, head on over to ign.com.
And I am not kidding when I'm saying this, but if you go there, you get nothing but the same thing. Nothing but the same goddamn bullshit. what do I think of IGN in general? They can barely review at all. Even Too Funny Version 4 was able to spot out a street fighter fail of theirs on how you can execute a machine gun uppercut. They get every moveset wrong, they get every plot device wrong, they get every control scheme wrong. Hell, if they're even an inch towards making a bit of sense, then they'll go back to making no sense or being wrong. Well, I'm Oliver 88 Reality, and I'll see you guys in my next commentary. Goodbye.